Winnipeg's history is all about movement. The movement of people and ideas, of culture, of commerce, and of money. It grew from a small community into one of Western Canada's leading commercial centres and one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. The Red and Assiniboine rivers drain large portions of the interior of North America. It provides transportation, fuel, materials for construction, and habitat for wildlife. It's been a gathering place for thousands of years. And when traders came here, they realized that they needed to make this a permanent settlement. The next large-scale movement of goods and people came from the river. Riverboats from the United States came up, bringing people, settlers, materials, and even in 1877, Western Canada's first steam railroad. And it was actually the railroads that were the real impetus for the development of Winnipeg as an urban centre. The construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway from the Lake Superior to Winnipeg and then on to the Rockies caused a huge railway boom in Winnipeg in the early 1880s. Real estate agents made money and lost money the same day, and it really changed the way that Winnipeg looked. What was originally residential areas in the Exchange District and along Main Street were converted into commercial areas and warehouse districts as developers and businessmen moved into the city and tried to take advantage of the transportation that the railway provided. When they located the rail yards of the Canadian Pacific Railway, they located in the northwest corner of the city, and it effectively cut Winnipeg into two parts, north and south. The south portion was the established Winnipeg, and the north was the immigrants. The immigrants came from all over the world to take advantage of the permanent jobs that were in the yards at the train stations and in the warehouses that were located along the lines. They came from Sweden, they came from Russia, they came from all over the world. This growing economy based on the railroads made Winnipeg a very desirable place to be. The permanent jobs in the railway yards made Winnipeg a desirable place to be, but it was also important for Winnipeg to be the center of commerce. All the money that came into the country from Europe and the United States that went to develop places like Calgary and Edmonton and Regina all had to come through Winnipeg. And when they came to Winnipeg, they located on Main Street. Main Street between Portage Avenue and William Avenue was the location of all the major banks who built banking palaces to funnel the money from Europe to Winnipeg to the west. One of the really important aspects of Winnipeg's development as a train hub was the development of a special freight rate. Winnipeg leaders negotiated with the CPR so that it was cheaper to ship a manufactured good from Eastern Canada, bring it to Winnipeg, unload it, put it in a warehouse, load it again, and then send it west to the markets. This meant that Winnipeg became the warehouse of the West. All trade goods, all manufactured goods, every bag of tea, every spoon, every shoe had to come through Winnipeg and had to be touched by a warehouseman in Winnipeg. It meant there was thousands of good-paying, permanent jobs, and it made Winnipeg extremely attractive. Also throughout the downtown, in what became Winnipeg's warehouse district, were spur lines. These were rail lines that ran along the back lanes of all of the warehouses. It meant that you could ship a case of spoons to Winnipeg and unload them directly into the warehouse right from the freight car. It meant that they were very efficient in moving goods from Winnipeg to the west. And these warehouses that you now see in the Exchange District were very interestingly designed. They were designed to be sturdy, they were designed to be flexible, they were actually designed to be fire retardant. And they were built so that things could move quickly within the warehouse, that you could come in, make an order, get your orders packaged up and out and to the west in just moments. Well, Portage Avenue became the commerce center of Winnipeg shortly after 1900. Eaton's in the Bay built their massive department stores in the downtown, and that caused most of the commerce and a lot of the office buildings to relocate from Main Street onto Portage Avenue. After World War I, Winnipeg's economy began to decline and stagnate. This was for a number of reasons, including the Panama Canal and the maturity of the economies in Edmonton and Calgary. and also because of the advent of cars and trucks and the extension of highway systems, which killed some of Winnipeg's shipping hub roles. So after World War I, Winnipeg had to find another important role for downtown and the Exchange District. One of their very important activities was the needle trade, and Winnipeg took its place as one of the most important Canadian manufacturers of clothing. But even that role soon ended, and as the needle trades moved out into further areas, into industrial parks, Winnipeg had to transform its downtown again. Now the Exchange District, was originally known as the Warehouse District, is home to thousands of residents and hotels and shops and offices. It's another example of how Winnipeg has moved and how its downtown has moved with the times. So when you're planning your development and you're planning your building, you want to talk about and think about movement in your design. You want to make it flexible enough so that it meets the needs of Winnipeg today and wherever Winnipeg moves in the future.